Welcome back to Awakened Reflections. Have you ever wondered what it takes to leave an unforgettable impression on someone? To make them think about you long after you've left the room? Today, I'm going to let you in on 11 powerful psychological strategies that can captivate their attention, spark their curiosity, and keep you lingering in their thoughts. These aren't just tricks, they're tools to deepen connections, build intrigue, and leave a lasting impact. Whether you're aiming to strengthen a bond, create a spark, or just want to be someone they can't stop thinking about, these techniques are your go-to guide. Let's dive into the first one and start reshaping the way you connect. Lesson 1. Mixed signals. Human nature craves clarity and stability, yet paradoxically, we're often drawn to a bit of uncertainty. When someone can't quite figure you out, they become intrigued. They start questioning, what are they thinking? Why are they acting this way? Where do I stand with them? That's where mixed signals come into play. By sending conflicting cues, you keep them guessing, creating an air of mystery that leaves them constantly wondering about you. Here's how it works. One moment, you're warm, attentive, and fully engaged. They feel special, valued, and important to you. Then, just as they start to relax into that feeling, you switch it up. You pull back, become a little distant, maybe even seem distracted. Now, they're left wondering, did I do something wrong? Are they losing interest? This sudden shift keeps them on edge, and they'll start overanalyzing every interaction, trying to figure out your feelings. This emotional roller coaster of highs and lows creates a cycle. When you're fully present, they feel validated, but when you're distant, they'll seek your approval again, craving your attention. It's like a tug of war for their emotions, making you impossible to ignore. But remember, it's not about toying with their feelings, it's about showing that you're multidimensional. You're not predictable, you're not easy to figure out. And the more they realize they can't pin you down, the more they'll invest in trying to figure you out. They'll crave your approval, making them even more hooked. Here's an affirmation I want you to write down in the comments. I am a mystery. Say it, believe it, and remind yourself you're not here to be an open book, you're here to be someone they can't quite figure out. Stay tuned, because up next, we'll dive into a strategy that takes this even further, making you someone they can't stop thinking about. Lesson 2. The mirage of need. The mirage of need is a subtle yet powerful psychological tactic that makes someone think about you all the time. It creates the illusion that you need them in your life, without actually giving them control over your world. It's like letting them catch a glimpse of closeness, a hint that they're important to you, but never letting them feel like they're your only lifeline. So how does it work? Let them see moments where you seem vulnerable or in need of support. Maybe you casually mention something challenging you're facing, or express feeling a little stressed or uncertain. You're not oversharing your deepest secrets, you're just showing a side of you that not everyone gets to see. This vulnerability makes them feel like they're someone special, like they have a unique connection with you. But here's the secret: you never let them feel like they're the only one you rely on. You want them to feel needed, but not in a way that makes them think they're the only one who can fulfill that need. Pull away just enough to remind them that while you can be vulnerable, you're still independent, strong, and capable without them. This balance keeps them on their toes, constantly wondering if they're as important to you as they think. They feel drawn to you, but always in the back of their mind is this nagging question: am I really that special to them? Here's an affirmation for you. I am strong on my own. Write it down in the comments to remind yourself that, while they may be attracted to your vulnerability, it's your strength that keeps them intrigued. Stay tuned, because up next, I'll share a strategy that's going to turn up the heat and make you even more unforgettable. Lesson 3. Create a rivalry. One powerful way to keep someone constantly thinking about you is to spark a subtle sense of competition. When they feel like they're competing for your attention, it lights up their competitive instincts, and suddenly you're the one they're focused on. Now, the key here is to create that sense of rivalry without directly involving other people in a way that feels forced. You want them to feel like they're not the only one who could catch your attention, but you never explicitly say it. Here's how it works. Casually bring up a past relationship or a close friendship in a way that highlights how others have valued you. Maybe mention someone who admired a particular quality of yours, or appreciated something unique about you, something that makes you stand out. You're not name-dropping or talking about your exes, but you are letting them know that others have seen your worth, and that, in the past, people have recognized the qualities that make you unique. For example, You could say, "A friend once told me they admired how passionate I am about my work," or "It's nice when people notice things like how dedicated I am." This small mention plants the idea that if they don't step up, someone else might see your value and take their place. This tiny spark of rivalry keeps them on their toes, making them wonder if they're doing enough to capture your attention. This subtle sense of competition will push them to value you even more, because people naturally want what others find valuable. You become someone they're not willing to lose to the competition. Here's your affirmation: I am worth the fight. Write it down in the comments and own it. Remind yourself that people admire you and that you deserve to be pursued. Stay tuned, because the next tactic will take things even further by deepening their attraction. Lesson 4. Limited access. The concept behind limited access is both simple and powerful. When you make yourself less available, you increase the value of every interaction. If you're always around and easy to reach, people start taking you for granted. But if you make yourself a little more elusive, it suddenly makes them want to earn your time and attention. This doesn't mean you ignore them or play games. It's about setting healthy boundaries and being a little more selective with your availability. Here's how it works. Don't always respond to texts right away or pick up the phone as soon as it rings. Let them see that you're busy, that you have a life full of activities, passions, and other people who value you. When they see that you're not available all the time, they'll start to see you as someone special, someone whose time is in demand. Imagine this: they ask if you're free to hang out, and instead of immediately saying yes, you casually mention you're busy with plans but may have some free time later in the week. This simple shift shows them that you're not dropping everything for them, that you have your own life to balance, which only makes you more intriguing. This makes them start to wonder about your life when you're not around. What are you up to? Who are you spending time with? What's so interesting that you're not always free? It creates a sense of curiosity and respect, making them value the time they do get with you even more. Here's an affirmation to keep this mindset: I am worth the wait. Write it down in the comments and remind yourself that you don't need to be constantly available to be appreciated. By limiting your access, you show them that every moment with you is precious. Lesson 5. Delayed response. In a world where instant responses are the norm, taking your time to reply can make a huge impact. When you don't immediately respond to someone, it creates a sense of anticipation. They start wondering what's taking you so long, what you're up to, and why you haven't replied yet. This small pause can make them think about you more than they otherwise would. But this doesn't mean you ignore them or play hard to get. It's about creating that emotional space between the message and the response. When they text you, let it sit for a while. If they ask a question, take a moment before answering. This simple act of delay tells them that you're not at their beck and call, and your time isn't something they can take for granted. Imagine they send you a message, and instead of replying right away, you wait a little longer. Now they're thinking, are you busy? Are you with someone else? Or are you just playing it cool? The delay creates curiosity, making them check their phone more often and wonder where they stand in your life. This technique subtly increases your value in their eyes. The more they feel like they can't just reach you instantly, the more they want to get your attention. You're not rushing to respond because you know your worth, and they'll start to crave your response even more. Here's an affirmation to reinforce this mindset: I am in control. Write it down in the comments and let it remind you that you set the pace, and they're the ones who need to earn your attention. Lesson 6. Intensify doubt. Creating a little doubt in someone's mind can be incredibly effective when it comes to making them constantly think about you. People are wired to seek certainty, but when they feel even a small amount of doubt about their place in your life, it triggers their need to secure that position. It's not about being deceitful or playing mind games. Instead, it's about suggesting that you have a full life, full of options, without giving them all the details. For example, you might casually mention that you've been busy lately or spending time with other friends. You don't need to explain who or where you've been, just enough to make them wonder. Who else is getting your time? Why aren't they the top priority right now? When they start to question where they stand, it sparks a subtle sense of competition. They'll feel the need to work harder to earn your attention or secure your place in your life. This doubt makes them second-guess their position, which only drives them to invest more in the connection with you. It's a delicate balance. You're not playing on their insecurities. You're just reminding them that your life is interesting and full even without them. By planting this seed of doubt, you make them realize that they may have to put in a little more effort to stay close to you. Here's an affirmation to keep you grounded. I am unforgettable. Write it down in the comments to remind yourself that you don't need to prove your worth to anyone. They should be the ones working to earn a place in your life. Lesson 7. Future hooks. One of the most powerful ways to stay on someone's mind is by subtly weaving yourself into their future. It's all about making them imagine you as part of their life down the road, not just for today, but for the future as well. This is done by casually suggesting plans or future activities that could involve them. It doesn't have to be anything major, just small hints that show you want to share experiences together later on. You could say something like, "We should try that new spot sometime," or "I'd love to see your reaction to that movie coming out next month." These are not commitments, just gentle nudges that create the idea that your paths might cross again in the future. By planting these little seeds, you're making them associate the future with you, which is incredibly powerful. It gives them something to look forward to, something involving you, and it keeps you in their thoughts as they imagine what life might be like with you in it down the line. Here's an affirmation to keep that mindset alive. I am a part of their future. Write it in the comments to remind yourself that you're not just passing through their life, but that you're someone they will picture in the days, weeks, and months ahead. Now, stay with me because we have a few more techniques coming up that will deepen their attachment and make you even more unforgettable. Lesson 8. Create a rivalry. Want to make someone think about you more? You can do this by sparking a subtle sense of competition. People naturally get more focused on you when they feel like they're competing for your attention. It's not about bringing others into the picture directly. It's about making them feel that they're not the only one vying for your attention. This can be as simple as mentioning someone from your past, perhaps a previous relationship, or someone who really admired you for a specific talent or quality. You're not reminiscing or bragging. You're simply giving them a hint that other people have noticed your worth. For example, you could casually say, "A friend once told me they admired how driven I am. It's nice when people appreciate that side of me." It's a small statement, but it plants the idea that others might be recognizing your value. This gentle spark of rivalry will make them think, if I don't step up, someone else might. This kind of indirect competition can keep them on their toes, making them want to pursue you more. After all, people are wired to want what others admire, and by showing them that others see your worth, you make them more motivated to keep your attention. Here's an affirmation to solidify this mindset. I am worth the fight. Write it down in the comments and remind yourself that others have recognized your value and you deserve to be pursued. Lesson 9. Limited access. One powerful way to make someone value you more is by giving them limited access to your time and attention. When you're always available, people tend to take your presence for granted. But when you're more selective, suddenly every interaction becomes more valuable. Think about it. If you're always picking up the phone right away or replying immediately to texts, you're essentially saying, "I'm always here." But when you take your time, let them see that you have a busy, fulfilling life. It adds an element of exclusivity. Now, every moment they spend with you feels like a rare opportunity, something they can't just expect anytime they want. For instance, if someone asks if you're free to hang out, instead of jumping at the chance, you might casually mention, "I've got a packed week, but I can probably fit something in later." This shows you have your own life, your own priorities, and you're not dropping everything for them. It also creates curiosity. What are you up to? Who else is in your life? By limiting your availability, you elevate your value in their eyes. They'll wonder what you're doing, who you're with, and why you're not always free. This mystery keeps them thinking about you long after the interaction is over. Here's an affirmation to help reinforce this mindset. I am worth the wait. Write it down in the comments. and remind yourself that you don't need to be constantly available to be valued. You set the pace. Lesson 10. Delayed response. In today's world where we expect instant replies, creating a little space before responding to someone can work wonders. A delayed response isn't about ignoring them or playing games. It's about creating anticipation. When you take a little longer to respond, it makes them wonder what you're doing, where you are, and why you haven't replied yet. For example, if they text you, let the message sit for a while before replying. Don't rush to answer right away. The momentary pause sends a message. You're not at their beck and call, and your time isn't something they can just take for granted. When you don't immediately respond, they start to wonder, what's going on? Are they busy? Are they with someone else? This uncertainty keeps you on their mind, making them check their phone repeatedly and overanalyze what you might be up to. By creating this small emotional gap, you keep them guessing and invested in figuring out your world, and that makes you much more intriguing. Here's an affirmation to anchor this idea. I am in control. Write it down in the comments and remind yourself that you set the pace. You are not rushing for anyone's approval. They're the ones who will crave yours. Hang tight, because the next technique is going to take things even further, making them think about you non-stop. Lesson 11. Plant seeds for the future. The technique of planting seeds for the future is all about creating an emotional pull that keeps you in someone's mind. Not just in the present moment, but looking ahead. By subtly suggesting plans or ideas that involve you in their future, you start to shape their thoughts and expectations, ensuring that you remain a part of their long-term vision. Instead of giving them an exact timeline, you introduce possibilities. Casual suggestions like, I'd love to see that new movie with you sometime, or we should definitely grab coffee next week. Create a mental space where they begin to imagine you in their life down the road. These aren't commitments. They're little hints that plant the idea of you being there in their future, and it sticks with them. What this does is make your presence more than a fleeting interaction. It suggests that you're someone worth planning for, and that feeling of anticipation gives them something to look forward to. It keeps them thinking about you even when you're not around. As you drop these hints, you're subtly making yourself a part of their mental roadmap. People often want what they can't immediately have, and by positioning yourself as someone who might be in their future, you create a desire to keep you close. Here's an affirmation to make this concept work for you. I am part of their future. Write it in the comments and let it remind you that you're not just a momentary part of their life. You're someone who belongs in their future too. And there you have it. 11 powerful techniques that will keep someone constantly thinking about you. These aren't manipulative tricks, but strategies that help you create lasting impressions and build a deep, magnetic presence. It's about knowing your worth, being confident in your own value, and making sure others see that too. Remember, you're not here to chase anyone or prove yourself. You're here to be intriguing, mysterious, and unforgettable. By applying these techniques, you'll naturally become someone people want to invest their time and energy into. Someone they can't get out of their minds. Now it's time for you to take action. Start with the affirmation we've discussed. I am unforgettable, and let it guide you. Drop it in the comments below, and let's create a community of people who are mastering the art of attraction and self-control. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more insights like this, and share it with anyone who could benefit from these strategies. Stay tuned, because we have much more to share on how to master attraction and become the kind of person everyone wants to be around.